submitted for your approval another bizarre entry into the New York Giants Twilight Zone. Again, this is him with Online Big Blue, bringing you the best of New York Giants sports talk entertainment. The Joe Judge saga just gets more and more bizarre. His answer to his answer is even more bizarre than the original answer. You got that? You with me on this? You staying with me on this? Joe Judge evidently came out yesterday and gave a response to his response. He kind of defends his 11-minute tirade on why Giant fans should have faith in him in the franchise as a dose of truth or reality. I love it. I think a lot of, and you have guys that'll always stand up for your coach, because even at 4-12-1, I'm 4-12. I'm already giving them a tie next week or this week. Andrew Thomas comes out and says, I think a lot of our players are buying into what Joe Judge preaches. We come, he's adding that he did not see Joe Judge's press conference. We come in every day, regardless of what happens on Sunday. This is Andrew Thomas. We come in and work to get better, to put a product on the field, and we're proud of it. That's because he comes from Georgia. That's because he's got a Georgia thing. But Joe Judge is more than just delusional. He talks about, of course, in his press conference, how he felt like the staff of the Patriots in 18 that went to the Super Bowl was going to win the Super Bowl. Was going to get fired halfway through the season. Okay, well, look at the Patriot record in 18. They started 1-2, then 7-3. At worst, they're 1-2, 7-3, 9-5. Where do you think you were going to get fired there, Joe, when you were 1-2? That's not a Belichickian way. There's more. Then he talks about how the Giants quit in 19, even though they won 2 of the last 3 games. Throw Shermer under the bus, Joe, because that's what you did with Garrett. I'm really starting to hate him more and more. They quit. That's what he's telling them. Claiming players on the team, that team, who are now making more money on other teams, called him twice a week saying they wish they were still on the Giants. I want to see the phone records, Joe. I want to see the phone records from Kevin Zeiler and Dalvin Tomlinson. I would like to see them. I want to see these players calling twice a week. Only a couple players on last year's roster are making more money elsewhere. And that's Dalvin Tomlinson, because you didn't want to pay him. Kevin Zeiler technically makes less. But Joe Judge defended his claim when asked if he indirectly were singling out Zeiler and Tomlinson. I wouldn't want to try to identify names, and I think it would be pure speculation. It's a small league. I keep in touch with a lot of players. I've coached elsewhere because there are things that are very carefully with tampering that you never want to try to get anything in the mix, but everyone supports each other. Okay, so you don't want to get involved in tampering, Joe, but you basically just said that certain players who were on the roster last year call you all the time, twice a week, to come back to this team. Wow, I'm calling bullshit. I'm calling it. I want to see the phone records, Joe. I'm calling it. This is Twilight Zone time, guys. I just know that we have a strong culture. As the players from other teams that I know reach out to our players, well, now they reach out to his players currently, and have reached out to me as well throughout different avenues. Nothing that needs to be looked at into anything of this nature. But I know this is the place that players want to play. Yeah, okay. Yeah, you also throw exorbitant amounts of money at people to get them to come here. But that's okay, Joe. I know this is the place players want to play. It's a place that a lot of players are going to want to play for a long time. I'm going to leave it at that. Didn't you have 4 guys retire in training camp? Didn't you have guys come into camp, run a practice, or not even run a practice, look around here and say, I am not going to stay around with this cluster? We've missed the playoffs 5th year in a row now, Joe. But he sees promise. He sees the intangibles. It's definitely not been different, but we all had the same results, said Devontae Booker, a veteran of 6 non-playoff teams to 6 years in the NFL. It can be frustrating and stuff at times, but when you know the season is going to like this, you only revert back to the way you're just trying to finish out strong. How do you know the season was going to be like this, Devontae? How did you know we were going to suck this bad? Don't you want to call Joe Judge up and tell him that even though you're still on the team, that you want to be on the team next year because it's so awesome here? We are an S show. We're not a clown show. We're an S show. And that S stands for poop. We're a poop show because I don't want to curse. Because I was told on the radio, terrestrial radio, you can't curse. So I need to clean that up a little bit. And I still got to learn hockey. I'm still working on learning hockey. I don't know. I don't know where Joe Judge sees these things. I don't get it. People take a look at this. And it's just crazy. And then I love it because then you look at the Newswire, retired NFL safety and current analyst Ryan Clark. Listen closely to the 11-minute tirade of Joe Judge. In his conclusion, Joe Judge is a bold-faced liar. I love it. If I'm playing for Tommy Tough Nuts and he's saying we're focusing on Sunday, why in the heck would I want to be there and talk about March? If I want this coach to think I'm about now, that's what I'm not doing. Clark also goes on to discuss his departure from Pittsburgh and how he reminds friends of head coach Tomlin after the fact. Although the two would text occasionally during the season, Clark said reuniting is not something that ever gave him the thought. Clark, of course, played for the Giants in 2002, 2003. He says, don't, and I love it because he closed out the Judge comments. Don't judge me by the things you can see. Judge me by the things you can't see. And we can't see what's going on in the locker room. We can't see the craziness that is Joe Judge, but it's there. It's there. You got to fire him. I have one subscriber that always wants to shoot him out of a cannon. Which is great because, like I said, that's what they do in the circus. They fire people out of the cannon. It's the delusionalness that gets to me the most about Joe Judge. It's his ability to rationalize an irrational situation and make himself out to be the hero. I'm Joe Judge. I'm the hero. He's the hero of every story, even when the story ends with the fact that there is no hero. The hero dies in this story, but Joe Judge somehow resuscitated him and made him the hero and made himself the hero. Think about that. And God forbid you go up to Mount Joe Olympus.
How dare you question Joe Judge?
And question him. You will be struck down by the mighty bolt of lightning known as Joe Judge isms. The tough guy wannabe head coach. And I say wannabe head coach because he's not a head coach. You can call him what you want. He's a track coach. You can call him he's a clown. Wouldn't he be the ringleader, though, if he was a clown? If this was a clown show, wouldn't he be the ringleader? Or is that the guy that runs the circus? Or is that Dave Gettleman? And I love it now because you have the shift. You have the shift of the many missteps of Dave Gettleman's tenure. And all the things Dave Gettleman did wrong. Well, here's the problem with that theory as well. Dave Gettleman hired Joe Judge. So I guess we need to include that on the many issues of Dave Gettleman. It's just crazy. It's just bizarre. Like I said, my favorite headline is from Yahoo Sports. Joe Judge goes on bizarre, dubious rant after Giants post worst passing performance of a century. But don't worry, we're building a solid foundation. Saw something on Twitter where they posted like 6 guys that are doing well with the Giants, that are building blocks. And I posted back saying, aren't there 53 guys on the roster? So we're talking 6 over the last 2 years that Joe Judge cultivated. And I love it because then it has like one player injured, another player injured. I mean, is that the point that we have gotten to, that we are looking at players who are injured and saying that these are the guys from the Giants that are going to turn everything around? Is this how bad we have gotten? Is this how low we have gotten? It's got to be. And you just have to get tired of it. I am so happy the season is over. I'm not lying. I'm happy. I was thinking about going to the final game of the season. I was thinking about it. Had it on my mind to do it. Just can't, though. I literally just can't. I don't want to anymore. I'm going to happily watch the Arizona Cardinals because that's a team I'm hanging my hat on. I've been talking about the Cardinals on other podcasts for a while now. So that's a team I'm hanging my hat on because it's not the Giants. And we'll still do Giants content. We'll still have some Giants fun. But you know what? I just don't know as a fan, as someone that's watched this team since the 70s and seen what I thought would have been the worst, how this is not the worst. This is beyond the worst. This is beyond Arnsberger and McVay from the 70s. This is beyond that. And a lot of people aren't going to know those names, but go back and Google it. Go look it up. Google it and look it up. Because it's just beyond crazy. And I don't know what else to say or what else to do about this franchise. People say, Timmy, sounds like you've given up. I've given up on this team a while ago. But you know what? We're still going to try to make some content. Still going to have some fun. Going to do some Knicks stuff, even though the Knicks are sucking. But we'll do some Knicks stuff. But you know what? We got to move forward. We got to see what happens after Washington. We got to see how this regime goes and kind of goes from there. But you know what? We'll keep plugging along. And again, this is Tim with Online Big Blue, bringing you the best in New York Giants sports talk and entertainment. And again, don't forget to like, subscribe, ring that bell. You know what that means. That'd be awesome.